Yeah, Deon Attard. I've known you for ages.
It's been a while, yeah.
Ages.
Well, I was pretty tempted to wear like one of the original hi-vis Old Coast Carpentry shirts. And saying it would have been, we were your first trade customer.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that goes back so far that I didn't even have the account with a supplier.
No, not for the high-vis stuff. No.
Yeah.
No. I vividly remember you being like, hey man, I am just flying by the seat of your pants here on these ones a little bit. Like it could stick, it might not stick. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I'm not 100% sure. I'm like, oh, that's okay.
And I saw you wearing one like
it's still wearing it. Yeah, they're still there. They aren't trashed just yet.
That's crazy.
Yeah. No, it's been a minute.
What's your? I was thinking earlier today. What's your earliest memory of knowing me, or like?
Oh, it would have to be from in town somewhere. Obviously back when I was DJing, but it would have to be back there. And you had you probably had like a real riffraff persona about you, like you're saying, for like cornrows or what are those glasses, the Viper glasses or something like that? Like
no, Pit Viper ripped them off. They're fucking Oakley jawbreakers, dude.
Yeah.
I was wearing Oakley jawbreakers before Pit Vipers were even a thing.
Yeah, but I just remember being like, this dude looks almost exactly like Riff Raff.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
good shit.
I wouldn't be able to put down, they were a blurry set of years.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able
but it's
to put
like
down a year,
Fitzy's
but it's pretty
exit.
early. Oh yeah, Fitzy's exit. It was definitely after Barbados. I don't think we're not talking Barbados days then.
Wait, did you DJ at Barbados?
No, it's pretty hard to get Ranieri off of those decks, man. He was pretty solidified on those decks.
So Leon had me as a photographer in Barbados for, I want to say like 3 to 6 months.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
in the last 3 to 6 months. Yeah. Nah, Ranieri was pretty solid on those decks, man. Like he was there every weekend.
Yeah.
He was good at it too.
I feel like we missed the real golden years of Barbados.
Oh, you might have. I'm a little bit older than you, so we got in there. We got like shit. We were there. One of our boys got stuck in the elevator for 3.5 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
This is like limousine, all those days where there was like or is that even earlier again?
No, this was like Barbados golden years, man. Like you're talking. This was like Bunbury golden years when the Worsley expansion was happening. Like this is when Bunbury's nightlife was like popping.
Yeah.
You had to leave. You would have to leave Barbados at the right time to go and get in the Fitzy's line so you could get in before 1 o'clock. Like it was,
Wow.
or you had to like just be like, I'm only going to Three Monkeys tonight. Like you just had to make those sort of decisions.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like Three Monkeys, I have like maybe half a dozen experiences being in there.
Yeah.
I didn't like really start drinking or really partying until I was like 22. So like I sort of missed opportunities. I saw people get like right into partying, addicted to meth, all these things, and I was like, I don't fuck with any of that.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I think I went to a GTM and something changed in me, and then it was like just lost for 5
I think
years.
festivals do bring it out of people though too, because it's like a whole experience. So
100%.
it does. It's a pivoting moment for a lot of people.
Yeah, you realize. I think it's because you get that like childlike euphoria, daytime fun. In the sun with your friends.
Yeah.
It's a whole
like a whole playground.
Dude, 100%. And then you try and replicate that on sticky floors in the dark, and it's not the same. But you still try and replicate it for years.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you get a little bit older, you grow out of it a little bit, I suppose. But and you like have one big night when you get older and you think, how did I do that so regularly?
Yeah.
Not feel like shit.
Dude, I've been sober for 5 or 6 months.
Oh yeah?
I'm breaking sobriety this weekend, actually.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
But I never got sober to stay sober. I got sober because it's like, trying to get pregnant, do these things. And also like first time since that 22-year-old decision, just be like, whoa, just fucking chill.
Yeah.
It's all good. Just chill.
And it's cool to swing things in waves. Like it doesn't have to be, I'm just going to be sober now for it's like, no, I'm going to make a conscious decision to be sober for a little while. And like, until there's a reason to celebrate or there's a reason to not.
Yeah.
What's breaking the sobriety?
Dan's 30th. Do you know Dan from ProTune?
No, I don't think so.
Just in our run group. Had this booked in for months. I feel sorry for him actually. He's got this mate who's got, it was like I want to say 100-acre property. It's got like burnout pad, motocross track, mud pit, speedway track. You know, just like boys.
Big boys' toys.
Yeah. And he's got like 4 blown burnout cars going out. They've all got bungies that they've bought and welded the diffs on and shit. Everyone's taking out 110s in that, and it's going to be pissing down the whole time.
Yeah.
You know?
So smoke off those tires.
Oh, I think all the blown shit you can't run because it just there's no traction, so there's no friction, so you sort of overwork the engines. But that's what he told me. But I think all their like AU Falcons, they're just like see how far we can push these.
Divorced dads of Instagram.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's and also it's not like gonna, you know, I you might have been the same. I would like see how much I could do in a night. Previously.
Oh yeah.
Like what can we fit in a night?
Yeah, we were just such like around the boys. Like we were not out there chasing chicks or anything at all. We were just like, what fun would the night entail for us, you know? And like with the amount of times we'd all end up back at home just by ourselves, like or in someone else's kitchen or whatever, and then half the time it was our kitchen, everyone ended up back in. But yeah, they were just such weird years because, you think like most dudes would be like chasing chicks or this, that, the other, and we were just so much more fun, just boys being boys. I never thought about it like that, because it was definitely like coming up, it was, it's a weird part of my mind actually, because you know, like when you watch your Fast and the Furious when you're 15 sort of thing, and you're like, oh, it's all about cars and chicks. Yeah. And then like skip forward to actually like when you start finding yourself, especially in nightlife, I feel like it was always for the story. Oh yeah, for sure. Like we like got to do like so many cool stories, or like, you know, if you like, you'd sit down and then someone would be like, oh, do you remember when we did that? And you think, man, I can't believe, like that would be somebody else's like top echelon life story. And I forgot that it had even happened, you know, like just something stupid. Like one time you're like, I had gone into town and I'd just seen someone I just didn't want to see. So I was just like, I'm out of here. And we had left our friend, he like blacked out on red wine. Sick. The perfect blackout. He spewed all through the shit, like through the toilet, and it looked like a murder scene. So we just like dragged him outside, put him up on a pack of bricks, and then we all come inside and we were like, let's just go into town. So, but the owner of the house didn't know that we dragged him out, so he locked all the doors. Yeah. So then when our friends sort of come to, he's just cold, covered in spew. Smelling like red wine and garlic bread. Yeah. And I'd broken out home early, and I come home and he like come and spooked me at the front door, and I was like, gee. And then he's like, you guys all bloody locked me out. I'm like, well, in our defense, you were blind and you've stunk the house out, so it's only fair. And then I was like, I don't know, let's 11 o'clock. And we're like, well, the other boys said they're not far behind. We should jump up on the roof and we'll scare them. Yeah. We're like, yeah, that's a good idea. And it was pretty cold, so we're up on the roof on bean bags with like a blanket, and then we fell asleep, and the boys didn't come home till like 6 o'clock in the morning. Sick. And they pull up in the cab, sun's like starting to come up, and they're like, what are you guys doing? And we like wake up and we look down and we're like, fuck, what's happened? What are we doing? We're here to, how did we fall asleep like this? You're an idiot. And then we're like, it's just yeah, that's just the dumb things that you do when you're young, and you think that they're like at the time, and then you just like in your head things play out so much funnier, and then you go and you wake up on the roof and we're like, no, we're going to scare you guys, and they're like, just get off the roof, you idiots. Yeah, and you probably had keys to get in as well. Yeah, no, I had the keys. We were like, we could have walked in. We just thought it was going to be funnier to wake them up, to scare them as they went to get in the front door, which would never have worked because like they would have seen us as soon as they pulled in. But you know, when you're having too much fun, you're not quite thinking every part all the way through, are you? That's what makes it fun. I think that's the secret sauce, though. That's to make it fun, yeah. Just like, no, this will be fun. We'll go ahead and... Dude, just the amount of everything, cigarettes, drugs, alcohol. I mean, obviously, and what's the word? Allegedly, I didn't do any of the drugs. That was all the other boys. Yeah. But yeah, the amount that everyone did, I'm just so surprised that like nobody died or had a serious problem. Hurt, yeah. It's literally mind-blowing. I was talking to somebody, it's the cabinet maker that we use, and like he was saying that of his class or whatever, like of 10 people, like 5 of them aren't there anymore. And I was just like, man, how are those numbers not mine? Like the amount of shit that we have, like that we did, or the dumb shit. Like we had boys like when they're doing the silos, they like climbed up the tower crane and like we'd jumped the fence and gone. We've jumped the fence and climbed up the wood chip pile and things like that. Everyone's like, you should never do that. And
yeah, that's real bad.
Yeah. And things like that where you're like, yeah, we should definitely have like at least one of us not here anymore. But like we've done all of these dumb things and everyone's still here, which is obviously super lucky. But
yeah, I don't, and like I'm probably just maybe blocking it or blanking it. But I don't feel like there's any significant like stories of people that.
There's your drink driver, obviously, or something like that, or someone that's like...
Yeah, but I feel like drink driving such a broad thing that's not sort of part of the conversation. But yeah, I don't know. I guess as, you know what, people fade in your life. Like, there'll be, like, we used to party. You think, go back 8 years. Walk into Fitzy's, 60% of the people in there.
Oh, yeah, at least.
At least, right? You struggle to have a full conversation with anyone because you're constantly bouncing around. You're trying to move just to get away from this person and closer to that person. And it's like, how many people there in Fitzy's at any one time?
Well, it depends if you're checking Glenn's counter.
Yeah.
That's a different story to what his capacity is. But yeah, like maybe 300.
Right. So you got 300 people, 60%, 150 people, say, roughly.
Yeah.
One of them died from doing drugs.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's not too many that died from doing drugs. But I mean, they just died from doing stupid shit.
Stupid shit.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember when like Nangs went through our fucking friends group.
Nangs is a hell of a thing, man. I don't know why. It's not for me, that. But
did you ever have a moment with him?
Nah. No. Obviously, I know people that do. Or you would know people that do or whatever. But like, yeah, just the thought of starving my brain of oxygen for a giggle, it's just not. That wasn't high on my priority list.
Yeah, I definitely had a moment with it, and it's one of those things that like after a night of doing it, you're like, that's one thing that I really feel like organically in my soul, my body's saying, don't do that.
Yeah, you're saying, please stop that to me.
Yeah, like you can smoke cigarettes, you can drink as much alcohol as you want, just fucking don't do that.
Stop hurting the brain.
Yeah, like
mind you, there are people that have done dumb things, like obviously working in nightlife for so long, like you get to like one night, some dude who was like, I would have been maybe 25 or 26, but there's a guy who was in his 30s that just for old time's sake thought he'd jump the fence into Fitzy's.
Classic.
Yeah. But then got his wedding ring finger caught on the fence, and like, so he ripped his finger off, like a one night show. Like one night he'd just say, I'm just going out. And then just for old time's sake, I'm going to jump into Fitzy's or whatever, gets his wedding ring caught, bang, gets ripped off. He has to go to hospital.
Oh my God.
Another dude's trying to jump in, like bang, land wrong, break their ankle. Another dude got strung up on the razor wire for like a couple of hours upside down. Like,
wild.
Yeah. I mean, and half of those are like, and nearly all of those are from people trying to jump in, so.
Yeah, which I get. There is nothing shitter than waiting in that line.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's much of a line these days.
Yeah, I haven't been there for a long time. Considering I was there for like, I used to be there a lot of weekends. But I got to be the hot shot that walks to the front, like, because you'd be like half the time you're working. So, you just walk up and shake the security's hand and walk straight through and go and put your backpack down behind the DJ booth and get ready to start playing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like probably the most recent, like the last, like, say 10 times I've just been with a group of people that a few of them would make that happen, and you just sort of get the shake and nod and you're like, oh, cool, all right.
Yeah, no, but even then, I think the last time I went out, and DJ'd out would have been 31st. It would have been Halloween last year.
Oh, yeah?
And then I haven't been into town since then. I don't know if it was like, I've known Glenn for a long time, like well before I started DJing. Like I've known Glenn since I was maybe 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
Just because like my dad's a chef.
Yeah.
And like not a lot of people, there'd be older people would remember that like Fitzy's was actually like a restaurant. Like you just got to go in there and eat. Yeah.
Hectic.
Well, there's a full kitchen out the back and everything like that. Obviously not the average punter doesn't get to see, but
I can actually imagine that, like with the
layout and everything. Yeah. So Dad used to work. Like Dad would help because Dad was a chef and around town, and he's pretty good at his job. So like he used to help a lot of restaurants if they were like they felt like they weren't really doing really well. He would sort of come in and consult for them and help them sort of get it back up and pushing, and then he would sort of like fade away into the distance again, sort of thing. And then
interesting.
So like I'd known Glenn for a long, long time. And then once he had moved Fitzy's on, like obviously I'd had kids and kids by then. So like I was already sort of fading out of the nightlife because you're not getting sleep during the week. So why would you stay up till 5 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday to go and play music or just get phones held in your face, like to play some song by someone you've never heard of?
Yeah. And also it's definitely not going to work with what I'm playing right now. So no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But so as soon as like, you found out Glenn was sort of selling, you're just kind of like, that's just like a good chapter that might just stay the way where it was sort of thing.
Dude, that feeling where you walk in, like I remember people, you'd be 20 something and someone who's in their 30s be like, everyone looks like they're fucking kids in here. You're like, fuck off,
Piss off, dinosaur.
Now I'm that dude.
Yeah, now I'm the dinosaur.
I'm just like, you just can't.
That was the turning point for me. Like when I went and DJ'd that Halloween party, and I was DJing, I was playing tracks or whatever, and then like I sort of looked up and I was like, I know your dad, I know your dad, I know your dad. I used to party with your dad, like, and then I was just like, I know more people's parents. Like I know that you're the children of these parents.
Yeah,
I'm out. Like I'm at a spot where I'm like, I just know all of your parents. Like I know who they are as kids or whatever, but like I just know more people's parents than I do actual people in here.
Yeah.
So like I'm out. It's my time to not be the dinosaur and get out of here. Be like, what's that old guy doing in here?
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, I'm not that old.
But no, dude, I feel like I've just started. You know what I mean? Like I feel like so it's interesting. The perception of it at like, how old are you?
36.
Right. I'm 32.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like I just got like a handle on life. Like I'm old enough that I've got like money to do things and people take me seriously and like I can make decisions and turn them into actions and those actions actually do something for me and other people.
Yeah.
And then I look at like, well, what was my 20s? And my 20s is like, bro, I couldn't fucking concentrate on anything.
But it's good to get those out of I think it's good to like get those out of the way. Like I think you're better off having like gone and got that out of your system then.
That's a whole conversation, right? So I think I have this conversation all the time about like most people, but specifically men live lives of silent desperation, right? And they get in relationships and you fall in love and you do the whole thing where you start like not telling them as much that you really are honest about because you don't want them to see a different side of you or you don't want to offend them or interrupt their perception. And then they do the same thing. It's a normal human thing because you fall in love with someone and you want to do everything you can to keep them around. And then, one day you mention that like, I wouldn't mind going back into town, and she says something to the opposite effect of that, and you're like, I wouldn't really go back in now. I don't want to do that anymore. And then that desire lives with you. And if you don't exercise that desire, it actually turns into like almost a cancer. And you resent her in a subconscious way because she's the reason you're not doing it, even though you said you wouldn't. It's because she first said.
Yeah.
And then that turns into like a speed hump that other things have to go around, right? And I think by getting that shit out of your system, by like doing the partying, staying up, like making the bad decisions, dealing with the consequence of those bad decisions, and then kind of popping your head above all of that in your 30s, and you're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. If I have one or two of those, this weekend, we'll have some beers, we'll smoke some joints. I'm not going to send it. I'll probably be in bed by midnight.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that's
great.
I reckon it'd be impressive if you last that long. To be honest with you, that outage, like,
dude, if I have 4 drinks, I'll be able to stand.
Sideways. Don't let me get behind the AU Falcons.
Yeah, or the 110 for fuck's sake. I can wheelie that, can't give it here.
Yeah, no, I think, well, like you said, you're in that relationship or whatever, then I think there'd be so many people that like if you get stuck in that relationship too long and you get to a point where you're in your 30s or whatever, it's like that's a dangerous spot. You hit 35 and you're like, I have to relive those years.
Yeah.
I think if you like get in that relationship early and then you get out of that and you kind of like, I need to find myself who it was. And like, that was me. Like I had a relationship earlier on, and then when I came out of that relationship, I was like, I don't want to know any girl for like a year. Like, and I just got to, live with the boys and just got to like really become like,
Deon.
Like really comfortable with myself, which was like really, it was cool. And like as all like single guys do, you go and buy a puppy or something like that, and you're like, I don't need a girl, I've got a puppy. Yeah. And then, But it worked out way better because then like I was at a spot where I was like, no, I'm really comfortable with who I am. I enjoy who I am.
Yeah.
And then like I had met Autumn and we were like friends, and then she was really comfortable. So we were like both really comfortable individually. Like we weren't reliant on, you see so many people who like still have like problems being alone and things like that. So they just like, they break up with somebody and then like a month later they're like straight into a new set of pants, you know, like, and you're like, go and be you, like go and figure out who you are first. And then, you know, you realize you're pretty great without like, you're not needing other people. I think being by yourself is like a really powerful thing. Like to actually like really go and spend time by yourself and realize that you are a cool person and you don't, obviously humans need other people, you know, but like to know that you'd be okay. Like Autumn thinks I'm a weirdo because when I was younger, I'd be like, I'd go out by myself. I used to go out by myself all the time.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. And you were like, no, it's like, she goes, would you ever go to a movie by yourself? I was like, yeah.
Yeah, the only reason I wouldn't go to a movie by myself now is because I might see someone I know. I go to a movie by myself in Perth or in Melbourne for sure, because you're like, I'm just anonymity. Who cares?
Yeah. But I would do that when I was like 19. I'd go to the movie by myself. I don't really like.
Have you got any brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I have a little brother.
Right. So you're the oldest of two boys. Okay.
Yeah. And we used to chop it up. You know, like it was sweet. He's only 3 years younger than me, so we'd like.
Oh yeah, right there.
It was like enough separation that you like weren't in each other's pockets, but it was like close enough that like you'd know, especially in Bunbury, that you'd share like the same friends and things like that. It's cool. We had a really cool relationship.
Yeah.
Got like a little bit turbulent when you're both sort of hitting puberty or.
To be expected.
Oh, fully. But like, I don't know. I think we just had like one final fight when we were younger or whatever, and that was like enough to be like, yeah, okay, like this actually hurts now, you know, like let's not.
Yeah, we're better off being friends.
Yeah. Let's just leave that one in the past, you know. And we're still really good mates. Like he cracked me up last night. Like it's just a nice feeling to like know, you know, that like even though you don't talk to each other and shit all the time, that it's like to me, he's like one of the funniest people, one of the funniest persons in the world, you know, like he's just got the key to like crack me up. Like I was like almost crying with laughter.
Yeah.
Kids are in bed, like Autumn's like trying to put the kids to bed, and like he just sent me back a response. You know what, like obviously all like group chats or boys chats are about, how they're like, you know, they're memes that cannot see the light of day or something like that. And then like I sent him one and he's like, great. I just had that on full volume in a bus full of FIFO workers.
Good.
And I was like, it like put me sideways. I was just like, I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, it's just so nice to have that person that you like, you know, who knows you so well and things like that. And you just get to like, just be, I suppose it's like the beauty of brothers. That's why we're so happy that we've got like Junior and Buddy. Yeah. And they're like 2 years apart, you know, and obviously with Autumn being pregnant again, we're like, oh.
Do you know the gender of the new one?
No, we're not going to find. We did both. So like with Junior, we're like, we're not going to find out. And because Junior measured small, like the whole time, they were like a little bit worried about like how he was growing. So we like Autumn had to go and have like ultrasounds every 2 weeks.
Oh, so you sort of like accidentally exposed.
Well, every time we would go, the sonographer would be like, oh yeah, she is small. And we'd be like, great. Yeah. We didn't, are you telling us it's a chick? They'd be like, oh no, I've just got daughter. So I just say she all of the time. And then another person would be like reading the file and they'd be like, oh yeah, he's measuring a bit small. And we're like, we don't. Yeah. So like so you'd be like, it's a girl, it's a boy. And like to the point where we're just like, we're getting so muddled up with how many people, like people saying what it is, what it isn't. When we actually gave birth and then like, it's a boy, we're like, wow, that's so cool. Like, and then the next time with Buddy, Autumn was like way sicker. So we're like, oh, it's completely different. Maybe it's the girl, you know? And then so like we sort of had it in our head that it was like, we're having a girl. And then we're like, okay, we'll find out this time, you know? And then we found out that it was a boy and we were just like, yeah, it's not the same feeling.
Interesting.
So the third time, we're just like...
hands off the wheel.
Well, and then the other thing about it too was that like, because we thought we were having a girl and then like, so we sort of like both got a little bit excited that we're going like boy, girl, you know, like that's, perfect. You know, makes, yeah. And then you kind of like, you get a bit bummed that you're like, oh, we really had our heart set on that being a girl and now it's a boy. And then, you know, we sort of both felt a bit guilty that we weren't happy that we were having the boy. It's like, it's not fair, you know, like it's not fair to buddy,
Yeah.
that we're not as happy as we were about junior, you know? We're like, so now the third time we're just like, we just want to love it for what it is. We don't want to be like, we hope it's a girl, but it's a boy, and we hope it's a boy and it's a girl.
Yeah.
You just want, so we just, obviously having done it both ways, we just know that like the best moment and like one of the best moments in life is when you're in that situation of giving birth, which is obviously really emotional, really like physical, like it, you know, it's like the most human thing ever. For them to then tell you what the surprise is, that for us is especially, and I understand some people like want to know so they can make the nursery, or like they're just not surprised people or things like that. Like I fully get that. But for us, we're the sort of people where like we love life. We're pretty spontaneous. Like when we were younger, we'd just be like, fuck it, let's go to Bali. And we would just like book a flight in a couple of days' time. We would just jump on a plane and we'd just go. And we were really lucky, say for like Autumn's auntie was married to a really famous musician. So he was playing at Coachella. So she just like rang us up on like a month's notice. Do you guys want Coachella tickets? And we're like,
Coachella.
Sure, let's go. Like, so we would just, you know, like really smart. So for us to be able to have this like really real life moment, instead of just someone giving you a piece of paper and telling you what the child is, we're like, we just, the moment we find it so much more beautiful to just be like, here is the sex of your child.
That's a delayed gratification thing as well.
Oh, fully. But it makes it way more exciting because you're kind of like he, she, and then someone will tell you some old wives' tale about like how you tell the sex.
Yeah. Or you drop the wedding ring on the tummy and if it rolls.
One of my best mates growing up, his mum was like, check the peak of the hair of the child before. And if it's pointy, it'll be a boy. And if it's flat, it'll be a girl. And you're like, but she's like, I'm batting at 100. Like, I'm telling you. And then she's like, what's Buddy's hair like? And I was like, Buddy almost doesn't have hair back there. It's weird. Like, he's like almost got like a bit of a mullet. But I was like, it's flat. She goes, go. You're having a go. And we're like, all right. I mean, you've got 50% chance.
Yeah.
You know, but
this girl's not going to let me off here.
No. So yeah, it's So yeah, I mean it'll be, you know, without offending anybody, it'll be one of them. It'll be a boy or a girl.
Dude, it's I mean, I'm not sure. Oh, you probably don't know. Well, like we've been actively trying for this year.
Yeah.
That's why I'm sober.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're like jumping the gun. You know, we got the cot and the fucking pram and doing all the thing, like, but also
it's cool to bring it into the universe, though. You know, because like, obviously the universe is just one of those things where if you really, you know, Autumn and I would like really believe that if that's what you want and you really put that into the universe, and or if you sort of pretty much make that's what's going to happen, then everything else just sort of falls into place, or whatever will be sort of thing. You know, like if that's the plan.
There's like, I always, you know, the thing that is most interesting to me is the concept of like. Obviously, we're having this experience. We're humans. We're doing this thing. And as you get more awareness, you sort of realize you have less control.
Yeah.
Right? And as you get older, you should be getting more awareness. So you sort of, that like ties into wisdom, right? And then you try and actualize that into like, well, how do I make decisions if I have no control? And then you realize that there are particular decisions that you make that do make a difference. And it's like the physical decisions that you make less of an impact than the mental decisions you make. And by like, for example, my business, I visually see abundance, success. There is no ceiling on what is possible with my business. And the proof in the pudding for me is I'm so much further ahead 5 years in than what I thought I would have ever been. You know, like what I've achieved in it, what I now perceive as a short amount of time. 5 years ago, 5 years was a fucking century. But now it's like, 5 years is what I can do for that 5 years. The next 5 years is going to be accelerated returns because I've seen that compound over time.
Yeah. And we think that as written as well. Like,
what's that?
To write those goals down, or what your vision is or whatever, to like actually write that
down. Everything is recorded and everything is projected on words.
Yeah, and then you've got receipts. Like you've literally got receipts of like that you've paid for it or whatever.
So when I do hit the point that I want to hit, when I get the Porsche, it's like, brother, I wrote 10 years ago I was getting this Porsche.
Yeah.
You know?
We put timelines on things too though, so that you know that you're achieving things you don't realize how faster you achieve things if you're like, well, we get business mentoring like through the building business, and like a big part of that is for them to like, we write like 30-day goals, 90-day goals, year goals, and 5-year goals. You know, like, and then when you actually like sit back and you like really reflect against those goals, because you wrote them down and then you've written how you're going to get them or whatever, the speed in which you hit them is so much faster. Yeah. And if you're like, oh, I want a Porsche in 10 years or whatever, if you're like, no, I want a Porsche in 5 years, and I'm going to do that by doing this and this and this to generate that amount of money to pay for the Porsche or whatever, you've literally drawn the map to the treasure. You like, it's not that you're like, oh, the treasure is somewhere and I'll just try and find it. Like, you wrote the map to get there.
So there's like a line between the two, right? So we'll play the Porsche as an example. The Porsche for me is a byproduct of the overall success. The success is you wake up and by choice you do the thing that you do, and you've built a thing that allows you to do it to the best of your capacity, right?
100%, yeah. Like the Porsche is like the cherry on top of all of the other work.
Do you care about the Porsche? Absolutely. Does it really matter? Not at all.
No.
As long as we're healthy, as long as we're together, as long as we're like, we feel love and we give love, like that's the foundation. And we're not making decisions out of fear.
Yeah.
Which is most people living the life of silent desperation. That's living in fear.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? I never got to have a threesome. My life is over. Right? So when you, crazy example. So I think the thing there is like, because a lot of people aren't in positions that we're in, being business owners and crafting a life that we enjoy. Most people aren't in that position.
Yeah.
And I think the thing to make this like sort of digestible is there is a line in the sand between like, I'm going to build a business that, using the icon of finance, because it's a real indicator, is going to do this number in this amount of time, and here's a roadmap to it. On top of that, there's this like visionary thing that I do, that it's like, I'm going to attract opportunities that are equal and greater than what it takes to achieve what this is over here. So that this is a minimum of what I'm going to achieve. Like, I'd say it's $1 million a year. I want to do $1 million a year in the next financial year, but I vision opportunities that mean $1 million a year is sort of undershooting yourself.
I think if you like made the $1 million a year the goal or whatever, that you would achieve that faster than you realize. You'll overshoot those goals when you put them down, sort of thing. It's just like one of those cool things that when you actually put it in front of yourself and you figure out how or you put down suggestions to yourself on how you're going to do it, how much faster you do it, and how quickly you overshoot that mark. Yeah, it's just like a really cool way of tracking your little wins, you know. Yeah. And I think like little wins are super important in business because,
oh fuck yeah, because it's so easy to overlook them.
Oh yeah, for sure. But because you've got receipts of them, you're like, you look back and you're like, wow, we achieved a lot. Like, we achieved all of the things that we said we wanted to do. It's pardon me. It's it's just a really cool way of tracking it, and then like patting yourself on the back for those wins. It's it's a really powerful part of our business anyway.
You're so obviously you're a builder. Is there, because like watching George put the wall together yesterday, it blows my mind, because I'm like, you fucking built a physical thing that has purpose. You know what I mean? Like a structure that does something.
It's a super rewarding job.
Yeah, because you have something like, I can show you what I've spent the last 12 weeks building on a screen, and it's bullshit. It's really effective and powerful and adds so much value to my business and all this, but it's just like, if the power goes out, it disappears, you know? And it's like, that wall will be there after the power goes out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is one of those things. It was like a gripe that I had with like doing like some form work and things like that. Like within carpentry, there's obviously like lots of different arms of it. And for me, like if you went and did a roof, you could drive past the street and the roof would be there. Like George, for instance, you could like drive down the street and he'd be like, I did that roof, I did that roof, I did that roof. You know, with like form work, you would like go and dig a hole and you do this stuff and you form it up, and, you know, it'd be 2 or 3 weeks worth of work, you know, and then by the end of it, you would see like this much of it, you know, you'd see like 20, 30 mil or something like that, and you're like, it doesn't have the same, like it wasn't as rewarding sort of thing, you know, but like, I don't know, I've always liked building and making, and like, you'd be like, so many builders, if you're like, did you play with Lego as a kid? And they'll be like, yeah, man, it was like, mum had to like pry me away. Yeah, I love Lego, yeah. So it's just one of those things. It is a super rewarding profession like that. Yeah. And then like, say building houses, for instance, like then you're dealing with a whole nother echelon of emotion for somebody, because like that could be somebody's family home where they're going to create memories, and they're going to like, they're just going to, they might have their first child. Like, say, if you guys were to fall pregnant, and I hope you guys do, like that, and it was in this house or whatever, that this house will forever, hold, like a memory. House will forever hold, and someone built that house for you, So like, we're building a house at the moment for like a couple who actually went to school with him, and, like they've got a son, and, they're trying and things. So like, that this house that you're building for this person is going to be like, it's going to hold so many memories for them that it's like, it's definitely not lost on me how special that is. And it's like such a privilege to be able to do that for people. Like, I think it's like so massive that you get to do that for somebody. And it's, and like sometimes you have to like sort of shake yourself. You be like, you get to do that for somebody. You get to create a place where these memories are made. And if you do it really well, then like, there's like just that really great feeling inside. You'd be like, and obviously you have to hold yourself to a really high quality, obviously.
Yeah. Well, that's
and it like fully pins you too, like say like a project builder. Like that like that family or whatever, for the most part, they're a number. Like there would be people within those organisations that maybe don't think that way, but like, I'll never forget each of those houses. I'll remember every part of it. I'll remember those clients' names. I remember because that's what my brain's like, but it will be locked in my brain because it really isn't lost on me what the specialness and the significance of what that is for somebody. So it's a pretty cool profession. I like it anyway.
Dude, I like live with almost a disappointment that it wasn't explained to me like how fucking cool that was when I was 16. Yeah. So like, hey, you can like every day be out in the fresh air making stuff. Yeah. 'Cause I feel like, dude, my school experience was just trying not to get in trouble. For 10 years until I was like, I'm going to go be a skater for a year,
Yeah. I mean, I didn't mind school. When I was young, I used to play a lot of sports. You probably do the same. So like for me, like being in school, or then I got it's not, you're not allowed to call it a scholarship. It's a bursary to a boarding school in Perth. So
right.
It just happened to be that I was like pretty good at sport.
Yeah.
It was, the two definitely weren't correlated for the,
it was an academic
pursuit. For the Perth, for leadership, for the Perth Schooling Association. But so no, I went up to Perth and I went to boarding school for a couple of years to play sport. So like I would have broken out of school at year 10. I would have been like, it's not for me. But then when we were like offered an opportunity to go and like potentially turn that sport into a career.
What sport was that?
Well, I used to play cricket. I used to play water polo. And at the time I was playing footy, but then I changed to rugby halfway through my schooling time.
Okay.
And, I was like good at all three of those. Like obviously not good enough. You like really crack it, but you're in the conversation of like you could go on to do this sort of thing,
Sort of thing, if you did one of them seriously, you probably would have.
Yeah, well, my body sort of not let me down because my body is my body, it's just the way that it is. But I had a bad shoulder, and then like I was like, okay, well I'll really focus on rugby then.
Yeah.
And then like I just started tearing hamstrings like they were ribbons. Like if you said, hey man, we're really short on a football team this weekend, I'd be like, I'll come out and play, but just understand I won't make it out of the first quarter without tearing a hamstring. Like, it's just going to happen. So it's just one of those things. So we're just like, which was a tough pill to swallow when I was young. Like, because I was doing pretty well, and we like sort of like pushing towards a track where maybe that would become a thing. And then like you tear a hamstring and that you're like, man, I'm too young to be tearing hamstrings.
Also 6 weeks is 6 months out of action as well.
Yeah. That was a pretty good one, the first one. And I was like, that was like a solid 10-weeker.
Yeah.
And then, just after that, it just got, they just like the time in between me tearing them just got closer and closer and closer to the point where I was like, oh, this is 100% over for me, and like I was sort of like you in that like I didn't really party or anything when I was young. Like when all my mates was like 16 going to house parties or whatever, like I wouldn't drink. Yeah. Like I didn't really even start drinking until I was 18. Yeah. Like, and even then like it would be like a cruiser or something like that. Like I couldn't even fathom drinking beer until I was like,
oh dude, I still can't.
At least 20 something.
Rubbish.
Yeah. used to drink lollipop drinks, but yeah, like, and it was cool because like obviously team sports, I think, are like just a really pivotal point of growing up, like understanding that like the team success is greater than your own personal success, and it shouldn't be that you're the superstar. I don't know, how did you find, obviously, being your speed skating career, obviously that's like the complete opposite. You would obviously, it's like more about your own personal success and how you have to be better than the other people.
Yeah, so every event except for marathon is very much that. It's an individual sport, and in marathon you have to work as a team. Like you pretty much know who you're sending out to win. Yeah. And I was never that guy. I was a fucking workhorse. Go out the front and just hurt everyone in this race.
Just get out there.
Yeah. And then
try and make it easier for the rest of them.
Yeah. And like if someone was in trouble, it's like go to the back of the pack, grab them, bring them to the front, put them in a good position, you know, like, and yeah, but yeah, I think, you know, even now, like I think about having a business partner or something, it wouldn't work. I'm just a solo.
No, like, well, you're saying a business partner. Like I had, when I first was like going to go into business, like I was a sole trader, so like really just as a subby. And my best mate growing up, his dad was an accountant, still is an accountant. And I said, oh, what about like partnering up? Because like it is pretty big in like carpentry to like part or building in general. Like you see a lot of brickies teams are partnerships and things like that. Yeah. What about a partnership? And he goes, it can never, like it's never equal.
Yeah, it'll never. Yeah.
The only equal thing about it is the split of the profit. Because you both agree it's 50% equal split. But like if you and I are in partnership on a business or whatever, and like you just went to Tokyo or whatever, but I've got kids, so like I would take Japan, you know, but I've got kids, so I don't go on a holiday for 2 years. But you know, you've gone on 2 holidays in the amount of time or whatever, and it's like, well, when do I go on holiday? Like how come you know I wasn't taking a greater percentage of the split while you were gone? You know, like how.
Yeah.
And then like obviously that breeds resentment, and you're obviously a really hard worker, you know, like so you would be like whoever was in business partner with you, like they're probably the 49%, you know, like you're always going to be doing the lion's share of the work.
But this is the thing, like in those scenarios where you have, you know, 2 people or 3, I've seen it where there's like 7 people. It's like, how can you possibly manage, like all the hats that I wear, you know, like I've just launched Facebook ads for the first time, right? Which...
With the help of Brandon, or?
Yeah, I did his course.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so just to dive into that, because this would be a cool timestamp for watching this in 10 years' time. They've been live for 48 hours. I've spent roughly $40 on ads, and I've got like fucking 12 leads.
Perfect.
It's crazy. My acquisition cost is so cheap, but also like
$3.50-ish.
When you look at it, like that course is teaching people how to make marketing for a product that people aren't anticipating or know that they want or don't know the person selling the product. I live in a town where like most people have sort of heard of me at the very least. They kind of know what I do. If they don't know me directly, they know someone who does.
Or they would have seen your product around and they didn't realize.
Didn't even realize?
Yeah.
And all I'm really doing is just going, hey, I do this in a really fucking repetitive fashion.
Yeah.
So it's like the ground was sort of already set. But with that, the point I was making, like, marketing's been the flavor for the past 4 weeks. Building this back-end system was a flavor for about 5 weeks before that. And before that, it was workflow out there. And before that, it was learning the printer that we bought. And before that, it was moving everything. And before that, it was... the amount of hats that you have to wear. How do you split that?
Yeah, it's impossible. I mean, you think what it is over a whole house, like to be like...
Exactly.
You've got to be the sales rep. You've got to help with the design. You've got to help. You've got to be the scheduler. You've got to be the estimator. You've got to be the project manager.
Right.
I'm still the carpenter. You know, you've got to be.
Oh, dude, your skill set that started you comes last. I've learned.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's after everything else.
Yeah, and now I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't like doing the rest of that stuff. Like I hate bookwork.
Yeah,
I like building things.
Have you got a bookkeeper?
Yeah, I've got a bookkeeper, but it's more. She more keeps the compliance end of like Xero up and running.
Yeah.
In terms of like sending the invoices and stuff, like
you sort of have to do it.
I still send all of because like it's sort of hard. Like I would be writing it out in an email form or something anyway. So why would I write it in an email? I may as well write it in Xero, and I may as well send the invoice. So like it's more reconciles everything that goes through my account, and just make sure that everything past the spending and receiving of money, when the tax department comes knocking, that at least they're like, everything seems to be in order.
Yeah.
it's something that I want to move away. Like I want to give the reins off to somebody else and be like, I don't like doing that in the first place. And if we're comparing the two, what I'm good at is building, is carpentry. Yeah. What I'm not so great at is zero. I understand it enough, but I would be like, if it meant that I had to stop doing carpentry so I could go and spend time on zero, I should pay somebody to do zero so I can spend more time making the money on carpentry. You know, it's just one of those things where.
All right, I got a two-step question for you. So you're 36. Your like inertia of motivation in your 30s, have you felt it increase, decrease, or stay the same?
I would say, well, whether it's because I'm in my 30s or whether it's because I'm a father, my motivation or like tunnel vision towards success has like increased exponentially. Like
really
huge. Like because when you have, whether it's because you become a father or whether it's because I'm in my 30s, I couldn't tell you because I don't know the other part of being like, I don't know about being 30 without children.
Yeah.
But I do know that like being a father really like changes your focus to being like, because you know you've got to provide. And like, it's not that I don't want Autumn to work. It's that I want Autumn to be able to have the choice to not work if she didn't want to. So that would mean that I would have to provide, you know. So, and if I have to provide, then that's just, I will do what I need to. Like I'm driven enough to be like, I'll do what I have to. If I really had to, I'd go and DJ again.
Yeah.
Like there'd be like, there wouldn't be anything that I wouldn't do to like, that would stop me from like keeping that as the goal. Like, you know, like that Autumn wouldn't have to work if she didn't want to. I'm lucky that Autumn likes doing work. Like she runs her studio out the back, and obviously she does all of the marketing and stuff for the building company. And she's like sort of my filter between a lot of the emails that come in. So I really only have to deal with like the stuff things that are they're like pre-qualified, you know. So like when it gets to the point where I get to have to deal with it, it's like, here's all of the answers to the questions that you were going to ask, you know. So like I'm really only dealing with somebody that's qualified. Like in terms of like, if someone was like, hey, I want you to build like a chicken coop out the back, I'm not then like, what? Like, I don't have time for this.
Having,
you know, like,
having to have the time for the conversation to explain.
Yeah. So like, and then obviously on top of that, Autumn is a mother and a pregnant mother at the moment. So it's like, so to answer your question, it's like, no, being the father, you know, and a husband or whatever was like, that's way more of a driver for me than I would think than being in my 30s. Like if I didn't have kids, you know, I was living a lifestyle where I was like getting paid to party. Like that could have gone on for a long time. So, I don't know how my body would have held up, like knowing now that my body doesn't, but like, you know, it could have continued on in that sense. You know, there are dudes like, like my good friend, he's a DJ Genga, you know, like he's older than me. He just had his 40th birthday, you know, and he's still a career DJ. He doesn't party the way that he used to in his 20s, you know, but like I could have just quite easily just gone and kept being a DJ.
Yeah.
But we just got to a point where like, we're like, Autumn and I had these conversations about starting a family, and it's like, well, do you want to be a DJ in a family? You know, it's like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like Princey still does it really well. But, yeah, I think there's always a part of me that like really always like, I do enjoy business, and then like the success of business sort of becomes this like goal, and I'm not like doing this so that I could be like, I'm Dale Alcock now or something like that. Like, I don't know if there's like an end goal to it. Like, is there an end goal for you? Like, is there like, when I get to this number, or once I've hit this number, then I'll be satisfied? Like, I just don't think there's any like, there's no point.
There. I think now it's just what if. What if we double it? You know, like my most recent thing was like, what if we did 5 times what we're doing? That's what started this whole conversation about building the system. And it's a long story, but essentially it's like 12 weeks ago, on Monday, 12 weeks ago, I got my mum, my bookkeeper, and Riz in here, and we filled up this whiteboard and basically said, what we're doing is survivable plus 10%. Can we do this times 2? And we're like, oh, actually, yeah. And I was like, oh, can we do it times 5? And we figured it out, like physically, yes, we have the space, we have the machines, we have the equipment. The thing that was holding us back was our process. So that's why I built this program. And then that's what led to, if we do marketing, it then generates leads that fill into the thing.
Yeah, and I think because your industry is like, yeah, you could go and door knock every business in Bunbury or whatever, and that would only get you to that level. But if you were able to market to the internet,
dude,
and then you'd be like, oh, okay, well then there is like, you know, I mean, there's obviously a finite amount of people. Like you could quite easily just target Perth with, you know, and you could pick up an easy 5 times, or you just, like through your marketing.
I believe there's 5x here. I only market to Bunbury on Facebook.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got the printer and everything like that, and like obviously Australia Post exists.
So I understand that argument, right? But if I can do it with just Bunbury, because this is the thing, my goal isn't to make the most amount of money. My goal is to make it so that this is maintainable with the amount of people that we have in the space that we've got. It's to get the most amount of volume from what we have, not the most amount of volume from what we could get.
At least you could scale it to a point where you're like, okay, I've hit my 5 times goal in Bunbury, but if I wanted to then triple that, I would have to bring one other person in or whatever, and you'd be like, okay, well, yeah, obviously you would look at that at that point, but like at least that way, I mean, if you hit your goal and you only did it within Bunbury, then like you still get to offer a really personalised service where you probably physically go and hand the product over.
Everything. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like we didn't buy the $50,000 printer when we first realised that DTF is a better result than embroidery. You know, it's like there are stages to it, and I believe the stage we're at the moment is like we can get 5x is like a 1.5 million revenue a year out of the house with 2 people. It was fucking nuts. Yeah. And by the way, the byproduct of that is a very nice Porsche.
Yeah.
Right? It's about there, you know? So the way I see it is like that, like that's one of those things that I guess when you do pull up the driveway and she's got a nice car and you've got a nice car and you're like, oh, there's a nice house and everyone's healthy. It's like that's one of those indicators. That's like a small win. You've made it.
Yeah.
But I think to answer your question, it's always what if. You know, it's what if we sell this and do something we really enjoy? Well, what if we could do this and travel? Or what if it's like whatever the what if is at the moment, if we can just answer that and say yes, that's continuing to make it. And like at the moment, there's been what ifs this year where it's like, you know, late last year, well, what if we actually do go to Japan with the boys? We can't afford it. Well, what if we make it work? And we did.
No, you make it work. No, I've always, if you say that's what I'm doing, the universe will get out of your way.
Yeah.
Like, so if you're like, fuck it, we're going to Japan. And you're in your head, you're just like, whatever opportunity comes up or whatever, like, and I know that I need it to work, I'll take the opportunity and I'll make it work. And obviously it worked. You know, it's just one of those things. I think that's for so many people, you were saying like, obviously like us as business owners or something like that. Like if so many people were just like, fuck it, and threw caution to the wind, and was just like, I hate my office job. I love being a florist. I'm going to go and just start a floristry business or whatever, or they had that as a skill, or they're a photographer and they wanted to chase that as their thing or whatever. Like if you genuinely just went, fuck it, and you made that in the necessity and you put in the work that you know that every time the opportunity presented, it will work out.
Yeah.
I think if so many more people knew that, there'd be heaps more people happier in the jobs that they were doing because they actually went and pursued what they wanted to do.
Dude, this is the thing though, right? So the dude gets the job, which creates just enough money to do the things that he wants to do minus 5%. He's got a PS5, you know? He's got a car that gets him to work that he sort of likes, and it's got a rooftop tent now, so he feels kind of achieved. And then he finds the chick and then doesn't tell her that, you know, he's been by himself for over 6 months and he knows who he is and he has a hobby that he likes. Instead, he just sort of like goes, it's okay, I'll do that later on in my life. And then something happens and puts him back, and now they're sort of behind with the money and all that. And then all of a sudden, you know, we come along and say, brother, just fucking burn your bridges and figure it out. But these are my cards. You know, and it's like, I know my cards were shit when I started as well.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it's not like they're that much better, but I feel better.
Yeah.
I can wake up in any day and I'm just like, oh, I forgot I'm the man. I'm the man. Not because like I'm better than anyone else. I'm just better than what I was, you know?
Yeah. And you would put in, he's working 7.6 hours a day or whatever.
I work 14 hours minimum every day.
But you do it with a smile on your face. Right? You might not smile, you know, on the 14th hour or whatever. You might be like, fuck. But like you put your head in bed and you'll be like,
I did it.
Sweet. Like, there was a good friend of ours, and, you know, he's a good carpenter, and he was just working for another builder, and he was like, I'm just happy being employed. And it's like, no, you've got it in you, man. Like, break out, start, like, do it. You've got it, do it.
Yeah.
And for ages, he's just like, nah, nah. And then now that he's done it, like even though he'd be like, oh, really hard week or this is really stressful, whatever, like, yeah, but you're happier than working for that other person, right?
But you're in it.
Yeah. And
You're
he's like,
it,
oh
yeah.
yeah, no, like I'm not complaining about the difference between the two. Like, you know, like it's just, I don't, people understand that when you get to like go and do it for yourself and you're doing what you wanted to do because was the choice that you made.
Yeah.
Like there's so much more ownership on it or whatever, and it's yours. It's just so much more rewarding and makes you so much happier. And
I think
obviously it's hard. If it was easy, it wouldn't be worth doing because
Yeah.
you just be like, oh well, it comes too easy. There's no gratification at the end of it.
There's a certain like tolerance or like expectance you get for difficulty the further you get into it as well. You know what I mean? Like, as you know, sometimes you open that email and you're like, okay, you know, 5 years ago that would have really rocked me. It's a bad email, but it's like I lived through so much shit already.
Yeah.
It's okay, cool. Okay, that's what my answer is to you. Okay, it's not like my chest fell or I had a cry or anything. Like, plenty of emails have opened that made me cry.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that hasn't happened. I'm saying you do get to a point where you sort of dance in the fire instead of feeling hot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think you do numb out to it a little after a while. You just kind of like,
Sure.
you just like, yeah, for instance, like because we're a new builder, so like I'm like, you know, excited we're going to build this house and then like I go to the suppliers and they're like, yeah, we're not going to give you an account. Are you serious? You got to pay up front. You're like, oh, yeah, that's like $70,000.
Yeah, it makes sense. Cool.
Yeah, all right. And you just like, instead of being like, poor me or whatever, you just kind of like, okay, well, that's the problem. How do I fix it? Like, who do I have in my circle that I can speak to about this that's going to give me the correct advice and things like that. I think whether it's that you're getting older or whether it's just that you like, maybe you've numbed out to those things already, or it's not the first time you've encountered a similar problem that you just kind of like, well, how do I get over it now? Where's the solution? I'll ring my accountant. What does my accountant say?
Yeah, I had this conversation. I actually had this really good conversation with a friend yesterday who's in a interesting position as far as like he works for somebody, also has a business, and he's extremely successful in the business, but still chooses to work for someone, which blows my mind. And we spoke about one thing I want to come back to is like what the feeling of freedom is, and the second thing was we'll talk about the feeling of freedom because I said to him, I feel more free now than ever, but I've probably got more debt than I've ever had right now. And he goes, well, how does that feel? I said, because the feeling of freedom has got less to do with being responsible for that debt as to it is the ability to service it with what you've built. So it's like the forward projection of your potential future earnings.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And I said, it's sort of like you being on a boat, and the boat is like, it's an old sail ship, and you got the fucking wheel like this, and it's like you sort of steer it like that, but every now and then something happens and the fucking wheel just zzz, and you steer off to the left, and it's towards a storm, and you're like, I should be not going towards this storm, but you sort of know just to go, well, if that's where I'm meant to go, there's something in the storm or on the other side that's more important than me steering away from it. That's freedom.
Well, you've been through the storm before and you know that it washes away. Or
right.
You're like, it's okay. I know I'm heading there, but I know I can hold on to this steering wheel tight enough to get me through.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, it's not going to kill me.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
I think that's probably the biggest step. You're like, yeah, obviously that is a daunting step to step into business or whatever. And you think like, what if that happens? What if that happens? You're like, once you take the step and then you're like, I thought that was going to be way worse.
Yeah.
I actually made that through pretty unscathed or whatever the thing is. Or
and what if it
shit,
works?
I got a massive bass bill or something like that. And then you'd be like, oh, no, I have the money there. Or you're like, I didn't even realize that this, that these problems like actually don't become so big or like they just become, well, in fact, they probably become smaller and smaller.
And also that what if it doesn't work thing, like, yeah, I get it. You got to like not prepare for the worst, but sort of understand that there are bad outcomes. What if it works?
Yeah, I know. That's the real kicker.
Like what if we do 5 times our input? And what if in that part of that process now, because you're handling bigger shit, that bigger customers come along and say, hey, we want to spend $100,000 a year. And you are in a position that you can say yes.
You're just like, yeah, sweet.
Oh, we just 7X'd, we just 8X'd. Like, what the fuck? And
it is compounding too, growth.
Yeah.
I think like, yeah, you might hit that like, yeah, I want to go 5 times or whatever, but because you've gone, I want to go 5 times, you'll probably compound to 8 times just purely by the nature of you growing it in that way.
Yep.
Yeah, I think, and then, yeah, you're obviously in an industry where like, yeah, you could literally scale it to an international thing.
Yeah. Yeah, being in a B2B spot where literally every business needs uniforms or some sort of printing requirement.
Yeah. And it makes a big difference. Like only coming to get my stuff from you the other time, and then you're like, oh, Milne gets his stuff here, and Dave Fawkes gets his stuff. You realise like, shit, this kid is like printing for like a lot of the businesses that we know and hang around. Like, yeah, it was pretty crazy to be like, oh, no, that one, no, that guy. Oh, you're printing for him too? Like I think
there was literally bags on the counter with everyone's names on it. And you're like, oh, I know.
I had literally just been with Milne.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, that's one of those seismic shirts that Jake was like suggesting that we use or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, how do you find the shirts? He's like, oh, no, really good, comfy. And I was like, oh, sweet. And I never asked him who printed them because I already had my ball in motion with you.
Yeah.
So it was just more the fact that he was wearing the site, Yeah,
it's fucking cool, eh?
And then when I roll in, I was like, well, of course, yeah, obviously he's got it done here. That makes total sense.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy to get to this point, like where we're at. Like we've dealt with over 200 local businesses in 5 years, printed like tens of thousands of garments.
Yeah.
Like literally, yeah. It's like that's all word of mouth. That's all just you got.
So it's pretty exciting for you to like really explore internet marketing or something like that, where you're like, we organically got here.
Yeah.
Like what happens when we like really force our face in front of people?
2 days in a row, I've woken up to a list of names and numbers of people who want me to call them to sell them uniforms. Yeah. Do you know how bizarre that is? Like these people are like, oh yeah,
We've got to remember at that point, it's really your job to not fuck it up. Like, they've already said they want the product. Like
this is like me coming to you and say, hey, Deon, I want you to build a chicken coop. Do you think you can do it? And you're like, yeah. I can do. I can build you a chicken coop that will knock your fucking socks off, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, ask me a question about printing. Ask me a question about uniforms. Tell me your job. Tell me how you move. I'll put you in something you'll be like, I fucking want to go to work.
Dude, it's a crack up that you say that because when I was like, hey, I want some hoods, you're like, I've got the hoods for you. These are the hoods that you want. And I was just like I build houses, man. You print shirts. If you're telling me these, whatever, that's fine. Put me in those hoods. And then I went to the accountants and the accountant goes, man, that's a cool hoodie. Yeah, like, because I had my pencil, like, because I would just carry my pencil in the side there. And I was like, I pulled it out to Sonny. He goes, he's looking, he's like, man, that's a cool hoodie. I was like, oh yeah, accountants could use this. You could put you there. Like, there's a little spot there where you could put your calculator. Like, this would be cool for accountants, like. And I just like, in my head, it just replayed back when you're like, I've got the hoodie for you. This is the hoodie that you want, And I was like, look, you know what you're doing. Like, if I said to you, hey, well, when I come and give you a hand and like set the thing out, this is where you want to put that. You're like, you just trusted that I would know where to start your carpet tiles.
Dude, you have no idea. You have no idea. Because when you came and said that to me, I was like, when you left, I'm like, thank God, because I definitely would have done it extremely differently. And I tell you what, I had my dad's a very hard man to please. He's very hard to please. And
I like your dad though. He's cool.
He came round after I finished it, and he's like, "Look," you see him like doing the. You're talking to him, and he's like looking at the corners, and he's looking over here, and he's like, in the middle of me talking, he's like, "Fuck, you done a good job with these floor tiles." Like, took 32 years, but I got him to say I did something well.
Yeah, no, I was had to jump up and try and fix that leak on his roof.
Yeah,
it was a 2-part problem, I think. But shit, there was a mess. It was a mess up there. When I got up there, I was like, "Oh, you don't." He goes, "Is it bad?" I was like, "Oh, nah, like there's a couple of spots that could be a leak, whatever." I'm thinking, I don't know how this place isn't pissing in with the
really?
Water. Yeah.
Wow.
I'll show you a picture. I'll show you after this.
There's a couple things around the house that you realise it was like held together with blue tack and.
Or someone's definitely watched too much of The Block and thought that they could fix things in the ownership of that house or the handyman of that house.
That sounds bang on.
Yeah.
Bang on.
Yeah,
and it's also like it's a beautiful build in a beautiful area. Like obviously everything was well intended, and then just after they built it, like right, spend no more money on it.
Yeah, or they might not have been the original owners or something like that. But yeah, no, your dad's cool. He's like seems like he has a story or an experience that like at any one point you could say something to him, and then he would just whip out like an all-time story about it.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good for that. I think that's sort of.
I could easily sit there and talk to your dad for a long time. Like I jumped off his roof or whatever, and then it took me like 15 minutes to get out of there. Just because like I said something, and then he's like, "Oh, about this," and then we just started talking. And next thing I'm like, "Shit, man, I've got to get some food home for the kids. Like, I got to get out of here." Yeah,
I have that problem on the phone every day with him.
Oh, really? Yeah,
dude, it's cool being like an adult and having that relationship with because I'm an only child.
Okay,
so it's like, and mum and dad split up when I was 18. So ages ago, 14 years ago. And you know, I talk to mum every day, every other day. Being the bookkeeper, I sort of have to.
Yeah.
But then, you know, and not that I only speak to mum.
Yeah, that's it. It's not purely business. Yeah,
oh no, mum. See, mum moved away and has moved back to Bunbury in the past 14 months, and it's like, that's a really interesting scenario to go through, because it's sort of like I went from, it was easy to call mum when she wasn't living here, and now as she lives here, it's almost like I've had to train the hobby of catching up with mum. You know.
Yeah.
And it's very similar with dad as well, you know, because it's fucking easy to be an adult and not talk to your parents.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like with both of them, I've definitely turned it into this, like, if I don't speak to them, it feels weird.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
For sure. I'm pretty like that. Obviously, like once you have kids or whatever, they'll come back into your life. Like, not that they're not in your life or whatever, but they'll take a completely different role in your life. And for us, it was actually like a real catalyst because like, mum, through her profession, had gone through a pretty hard time, and like we just didn't hear from her for a couple of weeks, which was weird. And then we've like just sort of thought it was weird, and so I like just sent her a message, and I was like, "Hey, I haven't heard from you for a couple of weeks, whatever." And then we had found out that we were pregnant, so that's sort of why it was like, "Hang on, we haven't spoken to mum for 2 weeks. You know, we're pregnant. You know, this is like we need to tell her." And then it had turned out that like through her work, mum had like a really tough time, and like really couldn't go to work anymore. So when she came around, and then she was just like, you know, like I'm broken, like I can't even look at dogs without crying and things like that. We're like, what do you mean? So we got to like really, and that's like the gift of obviously children too, is that like we got to like help her. Like we had to give her like a light at the end of the tunnel sort of thing, and be like, hey, well, I know this is Abby. Yeah, you've got like, we've got a grandchild on the way, you know, like, and then because we named, well, Junior has taken, we gave my grandfather's first name to Junior's middle name, so which is Elio. So like Junior will always have this like real special part of like my mum's heart. It was like really cool to like I suppose like give back to your parents like that too, you know, like in you know a weird way. Like not obviously I could never repay my parents for everything that they've done for us. But, to be able to like try and give her a little moment like that, that's really cool. Yeah. And then you sort of realise that you're like, in that 2 week window, whatever, if I ever went 2 weeks without speaking to her again, I would think that there's something wrong, you know, like it's just one of those things.
I think also when you become the age that your parents were when they had you, then it starts to become like, oh, I'm now the version 2 of them. They were the version 2 of their parents. What am I doing? What were they doing? Like, that
dude, I used to think when my dad was 36, I used to think he was ancient.
Yeah.
Like I was like, he's so old. And then when you turn 36, you're like, oh, my dad wasn't old at all. Like, it's pretty funny because you think, man, I was hard on him. Like I used to think, you'd be like, Dad, you're old.
Oh, I remember when we moved to Bunbury, clearly when I was 10 years old, we moved to Bunbury, dudes on a gopher, like a mobility scooter. I remember like, Dad, I can't wait till you get one of them, eh?
In like 2 weeks' time.
Probably got one on lay-by that all I know about. Cue outro music. And that wraps up the first half of the podcast. If you want to catch the second half, jump over to Patreon and sign up for our $4.99 a month subscription, which gets you the back half of all of the podcasts, which come out once a week. Don't forget, we've been doing this for 4 years, 180 episodes, over 60 guests, entirely for free with no marketing. So I think now's the time to start charging just a little bit for that podcast, so I can sort of justify spending hours a week creating, producing, and posting these podcasts for you. So support your artists. I'll see you on the Patreon.